Welcome back to another episode of Aftermath with me, James, joined as always with Craig and Jake. Today, we'll be looking at Liverpool's somewhat embarrassing trip to the Etihad. However, it was, of course, Liverpool's first Premier League game since being crowned champions, and as a Liverpool podcast, it would be remiss of us not to mention that first. So, over the course of the week between episodes, Liverpool have been crowned champions of England and mathematical winners of the Premier League. Before we touch on the City game, does anyone want to say a few words on that?
Yes, I do. And it's kind of actually not even about us, to be honest. Although we got announced as winners because of the Chelsea City game, phenomenal game itself. Like, it was back and forth constantly. I remember watching it in absolute agony, thinking, this is too close. I hate this. Were you guys the same?
You know what's mad? You know what's mad, actually, just on that? The fact that Chelsea beat City, and then not only did they beat City, but they beat City to crown as champions. They lost their next game against West Ham, I think it was, and then City went on and smashed us 4-0. Which it's just a mad series of results.
I guess it was
that was because Aguero and because De Bruyne didn't start. Actually, when did De Bruyne even come on?
I think there was a lot of factors,
started,
to be fair.
I think, didn't he?
Did he?
I mean the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually can't remember if he started the Chelsea game.
I think he got subbed on, but I can't remember if it was about like 3/4 of the way through or half time. Honestly, but that might have been a factor as to why Aguero gone and De Bruyne being a late joiner.
Phenomenal free kick.
But yeah, I
Premier League champions.
Say that.
Yeah, so my initial reaction would be absolutely over the moon. I said I was born in 91, so this is the first time Liverpool have been champions in my lifetime. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Same. We've had a lot of near misses over many years, and I've had a lot of heartbreak, especially the Chelsea slip year.
Yeah, I was going to say, funnily enough, also involved Chelsea last time.
So I remember that. I remember watching that game and just heartbroken. And I saw like last year when it came down to the wire, that was terrifying. And sometimes I think when coronavirus hit, you would just question: is it ever going to happen? Is there some sort of like hoodoo over this?
Curse.
Yeah, but wow, absolutely ecstatic. I got absolutely sloshed within the comfort of my own home on Friday night, so I did not go to party in the streets of Liverpool.
Perfect example.
So I decided to celebrate safely at home, to celebrate what I think is probably my favourite Liverpool achievement in my lifetime.
Yeah, 100%. It's incredible. Like, what a moment. As you said, it's one of them where it was like, you start to think it's never going to happen. And also for us, like being born when we did, never actually seeing it. It was one of them things where it was just like stories. You just hear stories about the great legends of the past.
Legends of the great Liverpool being champions. And it's strange because...
Wait, they won at one point?
Because I've seen Liverpool win, like, thankfully, a good number of cups over my lifetime. And, well, granted, before this, I couldn't... like, the feeling of the Champions League, was it last year? That was absolutely phenomenal. But it's strange because that was a final where you're either going to be absolutely delighted or you're going to be pretty glum about it, because it's a win or lose scenario, that one game. And I guess it was mixed feelings when the Premier League, I think, came down to the last day last year, where it was, if City don't get the result they need and Liverpool win, it does all land on that as well. But this year, because...
Yeah, I was at Anfield on that day, and it was Liverpool versus Wolves and City versus Brighton, and Brighton went 1-0 up at one point, and the atmosphere in Anfield was mental, because everyone's like, we're going to win the league. Like, I think we were 1-0 up Wolves at the time, and it was like, we just got to box this match off. City are down 1-0, and then I think they ended up winning, like, was it 3-1 or something?
Oh,
City?
yeah, I think it was at least 3-1. It could have been 4-1, I don't know. Yeah, but I know that they got one back, and then they just smashed them in after that. But, this year's been, granted, like, before all this happened, Liverpool were that flying that high. It seemed to be I mean, everyone said it's going to happen, and then I think it was after the 2-0 at home United victory where I think was the first time I can remember we're going to win the league being chanted.
Yeah, I think it was.
And it's always seemed a bit inevitable. I mean, when it was announced that football was coming back, I thought, it's going to happen. I don't know when, and I don't particularly care when or how it happens. I said it can be a very sluggish finish as long as Liverpool get over the line. I don't care. And thankfully it happened pretty early on, courtesy of Chelsea beating City. So yeah, absolutely
I feel
delighted.
Like out of all the scenarios, like I was weighing up, we had, even before coronavirus, this was as well, we could potentially win at Goodison. If not, we could win it at Anfield against Palace, or if not there, we could go to the Etihad and win it. And I feel like all three of them were like pretty
Solid
good scenarios. Yeah. And then it turned out to be none of them, and it was in fact probably the least exciting scenario was they won it without even playing, which is a bit unfortunate. But as you said, like we've waited long enough for it that it really doesn't matter. Like the fact that we've won it is enough.
People will still celebrate as if they did.
Yeah, even the players did. You've seen that?
Yeah.
So it was a very different feeling because it's sort of been like it was sort of like a very like gradual build up into for it to happen. Not in a match where you can't see, like I couldn't immediately see all the players.
Yeah, there's no moment
celebrating with loads of fans.
That's it.
So it wasn't like full time at the Champions League whistle and then it's just boom. It was sort of like it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point over the next few weeks. It's been building up and been expected for months and months, and so it was like it was sort of like relief that it happened, that we can finally celebrate. But I mean, it was really good seeing the footage of all the players together because I felt like that was needed. Yeah. Because I felt I needed to see some sort of celebration of them because they couldn't celebrate on the pitch with the fans. So
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that hotel. That would have been incredible scenes.
Yeah,
imagine working there when that happened.
Apparently, like they had no idea it was happening either. So they've been staying together before games and after games, to do quarantine themselves, like quarantine the team. Yeah. So it's basically everyone that is at Melwood gets tested twice a week, and then all of those people stay in a hotel the night before a game and then the night after a game. So they were already there after the Palace game, and apparently the Liverpool board said to Klopp, right, we're gonna suggest you all stay one more night just in case we win the league overnight, and then you'll all be together to celebrate. So they ended up celebrating, because I remember there was an interview after the Palace game where they asked Salah if he'd be watching the City game, and he was like, no, I'm not going to watch it, I'm just going to play with my daughter and then I'll check the result after the game. It's even like, and he was telling the truth, like they had no idea they were going to be staying over in a hotel and watching it all together. So it's pretty mad even for them, I reckon. But what a moment, especially for like the younger players like Trent and stuff. Like,
shall we
remember
maybe
that would have been incredible for him.
What, you want to touch on the...
No, well, I was going to say maybe we should touch on the ugly, and then we could maybe finish off with a few final thoughts on the league too. I mean, always good to end on a high note. Maybe.
Right then. Okay.
F and
so let's talk about this performance at the Etihad, shall we?
Okay.
I'll be honest. I am now a lot easier on them.
I think it's a good idea. Like we've left it a night to record this. It's a little less emotional now. I've had time to process exactly what happened.
Although I am still fuming.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely issues. Did anyone watch Klopp's interview afterwards?
Yeah,
I didn't watch his interview
with
afterwards because
presenter.
I watched his pre-Villa conference today where he touched on it a lot.
I know he said after the game he was happy with the attitude they came out with, and what he wanted from the game was for them not to sit back and not take it seriously and to go out there, and play a game of football, and he felt like they'd done that. He felt like the result was slightly unfair. I feel like he's kind of just defending the team a little bit there. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly chances, but I don't think. I think there's a lot of underperformance.
Clips I saw of him in the match where you could see he was getting stressed. when something would happen, like beyond like the. It was kind of like when you've done something wrong in work and your boss is angry at you. I was like, it was literally that. But I feel like he's got to defend the team. He can't sit there and slate them, can he?
And
Before we get into what went wrong,
He would have behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Has anyone looked at the stats of the game?
No,
I have not.
actually.
I don't particularly want to. I'll let you tell me.
So no, listen. Possession. Liverpool 53%, Manchester City 47%. So we actually had more possession. Shots on target, Liverpool had 3, City had 6. City had 14 shots overall to Liverpool's 11, which obviously shows because they won. Touches, Liverpool had more touches, Liverpool had more passes and more tackles. So by those stats, and there was about 100 between touches and passes. So by those stats, Liverpool played more football than City. And possession-wise, 53 to 47 is fairly even. Like, looking at these stats, taking the score aside, we even had less fouls than City as well, so we even played a cleaner game. Taking the score aside, you would look at that and think it was a fairly close game, but obviously the result is a bit of a different story.
I think it's because it's not taking in reactions.
Well, so I don't know.
I disagree with Klopp's statement about their attitude. I think they just relaxed too much. Because, like, I think someone else in the...
I mean, do we want to start with...
Go on, sorry.
With the run of play? First thing that went wrong, Joe Gomez and Raheem Sterling in the box.
I don't know if I do want to talk about this.
You see, when it first came up on video and I was watching the replay, I was it was quite a long clip that they showed, and initially I was like, there's nothing in that at all, and then Sterling got away with it, and then Gomez just literally put his whole arm around him and just basically just hugged him and until he couldn't stop running. I was just like,
my issue with that as well is you can quite clearly see that he's running for the box, and it's like he's after the pen. He's not after a goal at that point, which I think Gomez was probably concerned about, hence why he was holding on to him in the first place. But like when he got around him, as you say, and then he stuck his arm around him, at that point you can see him edging for the box, like crawl into the box basically for the penalty. And I was like, at that point, you let go, and he won't know what to do. He'll collapse under pressure. He won't score.
The thing is though, I know Gary Neville, when they were watching it back, he was going, "Let go, let go, let go," like that. It's in slow motion when you're watching it, so it feels like forever he's got hold of him. But that happened in a couple of seconds, and you don't. Like, your reactions aren't that fast, and especially between Gomez and Sterling, they've got some beef already. There was probably it probably was a little bit personal. I think personally that's why Klopp took him off at half time.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Because
I mean, that's why it annoyed me though, because like
his mind wasn't in the game. It was like there's something between the two of them, and because I mean the other thing is as well, how often do Liverpool give away penalties? Like, how often does that happen? Almost never. So I definitely think
it surprised me. I thought, if anyone, Gomez would have been the one to get over it quicker, and Sterling would have been the one, like, kicking off, trying to get, like, a penalty or, that type of thing. But clearly Gomez was still struck.
But I mean, regardless, like, it was definitely a penalty. Like, there's no excusing what happened.
I looked at that and was like, that's fair.
It was very sloppy. I think overall, Liverpool's defence was the weakest point of the night.
Yeah, although...
Which is surprising because...
Go on.
It's often been one of the strongest points of Liverpool's team, having Alisson in goal and that back four.
I do feel sorry for Van Dijk, though.
Bad day at the office.
I don't think he actually did anything wrong. He wasn't great, but he wasn't awful. Like Becker.
No, I mean, I feel like Gomez with the penalty, and then Robertson, I think it maybe for the second or third.
Yeah.
And then Trent. I mean, I feel like between those three, they were all fault. But I think Klopp covered it, relatively fairly, saying it was 4 big individual errors. Other than that, it was okay. I said, it's bad that they, I think the heads went and then that encouraged the errors.
Definitely.
But
yeah. But to me, I think worst player on the night for me was Robbo. But I also thought Trent did not have a good game. I think both of them played, both of them 100% committed to going forward and attacking, which is what they do for Liverpool. They've sort of reinvented the fullback role. But it's like, I was thinking about it earlier, and it was like if City were a European team and we'd just been drawn against them in the Champions League and we were going to play them for the first time ever. We'd never played them before. You'd heard about them, you knew they were a world-class side. If that happened, you could sort of write it off as like, well, they weren't used to playing against that kind of team with that kind of pace, or a player like De Bruyne that's like putting them balls over the top, and before you know it, like your fullbacks have tracked forward, before you know it, De Bruyne has put a ball over the top and they've got to track back and they're out of position. But this is a team that we play against twice a season at least in the league. We've played against them a bunch of times before. We know we're capable of winning them, but more importantly, we know exactly what they're like and how they play. And for me, it was just shocking to see Robertson and Trent were out of position so much. Like there was a point in the second half where Hendo was down in left back chasing, I think he was chasing Phil Foden down in left back, and I said to my dad, has Robertson gone off? And he was like, oh, I don't know, he must have. And I was thinking maybe they brought Keita on for Robbo, and then they put Hendo back in left back, and then the camera panned out and there was Robbo, and I was like, no, he's still on. And it was like, why is Hendo down there? Like, why is Hendo doing a 100-metre dash back to cover his position? Like, for me, neither of the fullbacks were good enough.
But my position on that, because I remember saying something about this, I remember thinking Robbo's just the entire 90 minutes was awful. But I remember saying at the beginning, to be fair, Trent was alright. But then after half time hit, I think I counted 3 or 4 times there was just choices he made which gave the ball away. And then after that as well, there was I think 1 or 2 times he was out of position. And I was like, oh, I jinxed him. I've actually jinxed him. Because I thought he was playing alright up until that second half. Then just dropped.
Well,
I will say, it could have been a very different game. We had 2 very early chances. And I want to say, like, maybe it was even the first 10 minutes. Salah hitting the post, and Mane
hit the post. Yeah,
Mane's header really
had a few very good chances early on.
Yeah,
and
it could have been a totally different game, to be fair.
As soon as that penalty went in, it was suddenly like,
we've won it anyway.
Can't really be bothered.
Yeah.
And it was, they seemed to be like playing on like, I want to say it was like liquid confidence. They're like, oh, let's give it a go.
If they get one in, let's just relax.
Let's go and play all out attack, and then it's just like, it's gone. Never mind.
It does actually feel like that.
It's done. Oh well. But it was I mean, I was thinking a lot afterwards, and I was thinking like there's positives and negatives, and I think there's pros and cons for it. I would say I can forgive them because I mean, like, every team has a bad day, and like Liverpool had Watford, which was a pretty damn bad day. But I mean, I feel like if you turn up at like one of like the best teams in the world, Man City, away, and you aren't 100% that day, it's like that they will punish you. And it's and I've done it to a lot of teams, and it's surprising. I mean, granted, they did it to Liverpool in the past. I think it was a good few years ago, and I think Mane got sent off in the first half, and I think that ended 5-0. But they if you're not at your best, they can punish you. But also at the same time, when Liverpool are at the best, I feel like Liverpool have got the better of City more than the other way around.
Yeah, because I think it was either Carragher or Neville said that the forward 3 are exceptional and the defenders are exceptional. I think it was something like the forward 3 of Liverpool can compare to the forward 3 of Manchester City, but the defenders can't. Like, Liverpool's defenders are better, and that's where we've got the edge. But it didn't show in this game.
Yeah, and then City won 4-0.
Again, like, I feel like I would say pros are, I mean, I get it. I mean, they've been so focused on next game, get this done all season, and the fact that they did it and they got it done. Like, in my mind, I can forgive it and think, okay, they've had a bad day here, but I said, like, this is the first time in a very long time for this Liverpool team to be playing in the Premier League with nothing particularly to go for. I mean, granted, they should be motivated by the records. They should be motivated by like I think they were on for most away wins, which they can't do now. I don't know about the points record. I don't know if they can still get over 100 points or not.
They can still do the points record.
Yeah,
that's still to play for.
And I
I'm
think
not sure on the
they
gap because I don't know what the record is for the biggest gap.
Biggest gap. I mean, I don't know because City lost the other day too. So I guess I think it was the most games left to play. Maybe I'm not sure. What else was I going to say? I know they are still up for, which I think would be a phenomenal achievement if they pull it off. But I mean, granted, there's some tough matches coming up, and it depends what their attitude is on winning every home game in a season. Because I don't think that's ever been done. There's me again. Well done, Craig.
I'd like to see that. I honestly, I mean, I think it's possible. Although when you said before, they've been in this mindset of taking every game as it comes. I reckon that has had a factor in what happened there. Because as you said, it's probably.
Absolutely. I think it's gone out the window.
Like they've had that mentality, yeah. Like because it's gone, and it would be gone because they're not playing. Let's take each game as it comes now because they've won. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so that's been drilled into them. It's like, forget about anything other than the next game. Let's focus on the next game. We want to win this league this time. We're not slipping. We're not going, we're not losing by 1 point again. Let's focus on the next game. Take every game as it comes. And that's totally gone out the window now because they've won it. And I reckon maybe, even if they believed themselves, we're up for this, we're going to do it. There was definitely a part of them, even if it's subconsciously, that was like, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
And I do feel like, I mean, they definitely did. And I feel like if they could have won it at City, I reckon if the league wasn't won, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, because they'd have been 100%.
They would have been. Well, I mean, and I know Klopp will definitely defend them. And again, I can, I mean, they've brought me the Premier League title that I can never ever forget. And they've had a bad day. Also, I can move on. I can forgive it. But I did expect better.
Will be forgotten. Like at the end of this season, everyone will just care about the fact that we won it. No one will be like, I remember when we lost 4-0 to City, though. Like, it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. And overall, we've lost 2 games in the entire season, so, that's amazing. Like I was saying yesterday, we'd have all taken that. They'd have offered you that at the start of the season.
Although, one thing I will just say on it quickly, as much as I agree with that statement, I did, and still do, I really didn't want that one to be the one that we lost, purely because we obviously didn't play to get our victory. So it doesn't, but it already feels like it somewhat cheapens it. It absolutely doesn't, because we got such a high point count to the point where it's like we've won it this early on, like one of the quickest wins I think it was, and also the quickest win. And then also the next game we played, which was against the old champs. Like I and this is purely a personal feeling, I wanted to have used that match to prove a point. It's like, we're about it.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously would have been great to win, but at the same time, City are one of the best teams in the world. I mean, there's an argument that Liverpool and City are right now the 2 best teams in the world. So if there was ever going to be a team to beat us in the fixtures we've got left, it was City. I mean, it would have been nice if it wasn't 4-0, because they absolutely trashed us. But it is what it is. It's happened, and you can't win them all. And we've won the league, so
fuck you.
But I mean, obviously City were phenomenal. Can't take that away from them.
Yeah,
especially De Bruyne. I know, like we did our own personal man of the matches last time. I'd be surprised if any of us were in disagreement that Kevin De Bruyne was man of the match there.
Well, fun fact, he was the actual man of the match as well.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Although, if it was strictly Liverpool, who would you have given it to? I feel like we'll all have the same answer.
I'd give it to Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
I think he was the best player in a red shirt.
Yeah.
On the night. Him and Salah, I think, to me, they looked like they were at 100%. Salah was constantly going forward, driving the attack. Hendo was all over the place, which he always is with City. Like, he seems to always give it an extra little bit against City. He looked phenomenal. Nobody else, to be honest, for me, was on form. Alisson wasn't, certainly. Firmino, I missed a couple of through balls that a player of his
the only
caliber,
one, I think the last 20 minutes, the only one that could have taken it was Van Dijk for me, but that was a much smaller margin. That wasn't because he was great, that's just because he wasn't as bad as the rest of them. But Jordan Henderson,
I mean, I don't think I could
80 minutes in was still trying to rush him.
Allow me to give any of our defence a man of the match after losing 4-0.
No.
I feel like he tried.
Not good enough.
I don't feel like so many of them had a bad day. It was a very bad day.
Yeah.
It's like
Mane, I don't know what was going on with Mane.
I don't know what.
It's like,
he forgot how to shoot.
What happened there? Yeah.
It wasn't the team bus; it was the party bus they got off.
Yeah. Which you also can't blame them for a little bit. Like, they've become legends, and not only. I mean, this isn't like City winning the league 2 years in a row. This is like Liverpool have won the league for the first time in 30 years. They're all going down in history. Like, they're going to be legends one day. It's like, it's a super big deal for them in their personal careers, and I mean they are now, of course, but I mean, like, there's certain teams like that you will remember for forever, and obviously Klopp's 1920 team is going to be one of them now.
For sure.
Again, it was a very, very bad day at the office. I feel like I was hopeful because I saw the team, strongest team. I think they played, I lost track. Did they play Wednesday? And then City played and lost against Chelsea away on the Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
And then played, I think, Newcastle in the Cup on Sunday. So I'm sort of thinking, Liverpool are going to be well rested here. They've got no excuses, put out a strong team. So. But then the whole mentality just wasn't there. I mean, it was all set up because I feel like team-wise, depending on what the strongest team City could put out was compared to what the strongest team Liverpool could put out was, and compared to how much rest these players have had, the ball was well and truly in Liverpool's court for this game, and they messed up. They didn't take the chance. The head wasn't there. Didn't really seem to have the right attitude, and they made some mistakes, and then their heads went, and that was it.
So I've just remembered something. I think like quite early on in the game,
Liverpool did win the league.
that too, but quite early on in the game, I think there was a moment where De Bruyne was running after the ball with Fabinho, and he stepped on the ball and it went down, and there was a thought that there might be an injury. If he had got an injury and come off at that point, do you reckon it would have been a different game? If purely De Bruyne wasn't on there.
I think...
No.
Same score and everything.
Was it already 1-0 at that point, or was it?
No, I think it was 0-0 at that point.
It was 0-0.
I mean, I think I think the penalty was where it all started to go wrong. Yeah. So potentially, but I mean, that whole personal beef with Gomez and Sterling still would have
struck up.
Was always gonna flare up with them.
So would Sterling have taken it if De Bruyne had gone off, and would he have scored?
I don't know who would have taken it, because I don't like City. I've had some trouble with finding a penalty taker, and like, I mean, De Bruyne has only recently started taking their penalties, and I don't believe he's missed one yet, which is why he took it. But I honestly don't know who would have taken it if De Bruyne wasn't on. But I mean, penalties generally go in anyway, so it probably wouldn't have mattered much. Although I will say on De Bruyne, I think he's absolutely world class. He's probably the best central midfield player in the world. So I think it probably would have been a different game. I don't know whether Liverpool would have won still, but it probably wouldn't have been 4-0. I know that much.
Shout out to Kevin. Now you're watching.
Yeah, I think just
Anyway,
annoying. It's just annoying.
Let's not focus on it too much. We'll wait.
What about in terms of choices that Klopp made in the second half in terms of like substitutions and whatnot?
Yeah, I was surprised at one of them. There was a sub that he made that I was surprised about. I think he brought on Keita for someone else, and I was expecting him to get rid of Mane. Oh no,
Keita came on for Wijnaldum.
Okay, yeah, I was who replaced.
Right. In fact, I think for the first time ever that I can remember, anyway, since Klopp's been at Liverpool, he made a substitution at half time. I don't know if he's ever done that before, but
that was for Ox, wasn't it?
Oh, he did.
Chamberlain. Yeah, Chamberlain came out at half time instead of Joe Gomez, and we put Fabinho in
that is
centre-back position.
So unlucky when you think about it. He took off Gomez to teach him a lesson, and then Ox ended up helping with an own goal later on. That is just karma.
I mean,
that's karma.
That was very unfortunate.
Yeah,
in a way.
I don't blame him.
I mean,
at all.
That'll never happen again. I wouldn't imagine.
There was I can't remember what the substitution was. There was one that I was really surprised about.
So we had Chamberlain went on for Gomez.
Yeah.
Keita went on for Wijnaldum. Origi came on for Firmino. And then Neco Williams for Trent in the
I can understand
minute.
that. I understand all of these, to be honest.
I think it was because I think it was Origi, and I think it was because I was expecting for Minamino to come on first in place of Firmino, and then for Origi to come on a little bit later, but not as late as it was for Mane.
I think I would have took Mane off quite early, to be honest. I don't know
that's what I was expecting.
I felt like he was given too many chances that he did nothing with, and I feel like at some point you've got to be like, alright, this isn't working for whatever reason. Let's switch that up.
Sometimes you just have to. But yeah, hands up. I mean, granted, looking back to, I think, when they lost 5-0 against City years ago, and I completely agree with what Klopp said in this. He goes, hey, it's better than losing it's better than losing 1-0 5 times. So,
It's true.
One bad game, I mean, granted. I mean, plus side, put 4 past Crystal Palace, so it's balanced out there a little bit. It was a bad day, and I think Klopp will definitely he'll have a word with them, and they'll
wake up.
I guess it's sort of like Everton again, the Everton game, because that wasn't. I mean, granted, I feel like if Everton had the players that City had, Liverpool were sort of like. I mean, granted, it was sort of a bit different because Liverpool had so much possession, and Everton were just defending. But I feel like Liverpool probably could have been punished that day as well. But
although I'd prefer to not continue this streak of win lose. I'd prefer to us to smash the records, considering it took us 30 years to get here.
Speaking of streaks, quite a little worrying statistic for you. Liverpool have now yet to score in their last 5 away matches.
I was going to say that was Atletico Madrid, which, granted, I mean, I'm not going to look too much into it, but I mean, I get that. I mean, they're a damn tough team to score against. So, I think the next one was maybe one of them was like sort of like the half team, half first team and half kids versus Chelsea in the cup, which I mean, I feel like if the full team, the first team played there, they would have got a goal. And then I'm trying to think next. The bad game against Watford, which we'll just brush over. I mean, that was a catastrophical bad day at the office, and I'm trying to think what else. So it's those 3. Everton, I mean, granted, I always expected Everton to defend for their lives and go absolutely, because I feel like to Everton, getting a point against Liverpool is a victory, because anything to try and slow down Liverpool's charge towards the title, that was.
I mean, the derby's intense anyway, but especially for the fact that it's at Goodison.
I don't know who's coming up away. I'd have to have a look at the fixtures, because it's Aston Villa, then it's Brighton is approaching.
Yeah.
So
Brighton, and then Burnley at home, and then Arsenal away, which is going to be an interesting one.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if they don't get a goal against Brighton away, then I will truly be worried about that statistic.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I can understand. I feel like everything's reasonable and understandable with them. I mean, it's not great.
Yeah, I don't think that
it wasn't the case,
think that
but
statistic is going to continue much longer, to be honest.
No.
It's just a weird one.
I mean, but I like to say, I mean, I don't want to look to Brighton. I just want to hope that we have a hell of a better attitude, and playing at home on Sunday. They want another big performance. They want to make amends. They want to actually show that they are the champions, and it's the first time playing at home since being crowned champions. So I feel like they need to turn up.
Let's get Salah some goals for the Golden Boot, and then once we're like got a few goals up, stick some of the kids on to get the medals. Love that.
Yeah, because I think ultimately, like, I'm not too sure. I mean, granted, it will be tough because Aston Villa are fighting for the lives, but there's also a reason that they are like next to bottom of the table because they keep losing games. So I feel like, I mean, I guess Aston Villa are one of the teams left to play who have got something to play for. I mean, I can't think of their recent results. I'd have to have a quick look. But I don't think Liverpool, the team that I think won every single home game this year, top of the league by a mile, should have any excuses about trying to beat Aston Villa at home.
No, it should be fairly comfortable, I would hope. Before we move away from City, I just want to say, Nico Williams coming on, he looked pretty on form again. I thought he created a chance right near the end there. He was only on for like...
Yeah, are you talking about the link up for him?
I've been very, very impressed.
75 minutes.
He looks,
that was sick.
He looks a talent, Nico. I love him.
Yeah, he looks sick. So moving on from that towards transfers, because I know we mentioned last time about the left back position being a weak spot that we would like to see something in terms of backup for Robbo. So again, Nico Williams came out and performed. I feel like we're kind of okay there in right back.
Yeah, I'm confident
left back,
with that.
I think if this game is showing us anything, it's that if Robbo is not on form, we just got no options. I mean, right now especially because Milner's injured anyway, but Milner's not a left back, so it was never like going to be a permanent fix. But yeah, we've had one game there where Robbo wasn't on form, suffered majorly for it, and we've just got no options. Like, everyone he was bringing on was like, we replaced Gomez, we shuffled around the midfield, shuffled the front three around a little bit, but we just got nothing going on at the back that we can swap around or change.
But we seem to be making a lot of changes to midfield, and I don't get why. We've got, like, our midfield's quite strong, even with subs.
It's pretty stacked.
We're looking at Thiago. Like, it's all but done.
I mean, I personally don't think that'll happen. Well, there was that rumour about Koulibaly.
I'd love it.
Which, again, he's not a left back, so it wouldn't help that whole Robbo situation, but I do think it would be phenomenal at Liverpool. He's absolutely well.
Everyone would pretty much have to travel down wings just to try and get into us, I reckon, if that happened.
Yeah, I think now
let's hope Robbo runs
teams
off
have a mentality of like, right, there's Van Dijk
somewhere.
not getting past him, so focus everything at like whoever it is, maybe it Gomez or Matip. Focus everything down that side. I think honestly, if Koulibaly and Van Dijk were together, at two centre halves, it'd be like, well, we're fucked then, aren't we? But Matip picked up an injury against Everton. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. So we've got obviously Gomez, who for me Gomez is my first choice anyway to partner Van Dijk. But let's say, take last night as an example. Gomez got the yellow card. We brought him off because we can't afford. If he'd got another yellow and got sent off and then had to miss a game, we can't afford that because we need him. We've basically got no replacement aside from Lovren, and we've seen what happened when we brought Lovren on against Everton. So I do think actually we probably need someone else as the centre half, because Matip as well is maybe getting a little bit prone to these injuries. He had quite a long injury spree already this season, towards the start of the season, and now he's injured again until the end of the season. So if that carries on, like that pattern carries on, we're going to be first of all, we wouldn't be able to afford to let Lovren go because we'll have nobody to cover for Gomez if he needs rotating or if he gets an injury. And second, like we're just going to be come unstuck anyway because for me, Lovren's not good enough. I don't know what your opinion is on that, but
if Matip goes and Gomez has to go off,
Go on.
I wouldn't feel comfortable putting Lovren on.
so let's say we do no transfers and Matip's injured. So we've got Gomez on. Gomez has to come off for whatever reason. Maybe he gets a knock or something, and we put on Lovren on. For me, that's not good enough. Anymore.
He's good. He's good, but
position that we're in
not
now,
for
we're defending
not
a
for
league
our
title. We're,
standards. To the sounds so braggy, but for this type of club, for the players that we've got, he doesn't compete to the rest of the team. He's bringing down the average, I reckon.
I mean, I thought we were lucky to get away with Everton when he came on. The two chances Everton had, he was at fault for both of them. So,
although I would love to see him
but
at that iron wall. That would be amazing.
yeah, I don't know how much like credence was in that story, but what was it? Were they talking about? It'd be a transfer and then some on top, so we'd send them Lovren plus something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there was we'd send them Lovren plus some actual payment.
I mean,
for
I
him.
think anyone would want to come to Liverpool right now, so I feel like that's a deal anyone would take, but it's whether or not we're willing to pay money, which it just doesn't seem to be the case at the moment.
And as I say as well, Lovren's not a bad player, just not for.
No, and as sad as it is to let people go, like,
so he's not. It's not like they're getting a bad player.
You have to do these things if you want to stay on top. Like we are on top now. We've got you see City making moves in the market.
Oh god, yeah.
You just kind of got to do that.
I mean, I feel like
too many.
I can't particularly fault Klopp or Liverpool's business done over the years. I mean, there's been very, very, very few bad calls. I would say, and I feel like
Karius is the only one that comes to mind.
Shaqiri's been a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, actually, but I will say Shaqiri's like a.
It's just injuries and
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, what is going on with Shaqiri?
It's a very strange one, Shaqiri. But I feel like there's definitely a lot of talent there to promote. And I think, I don't know where I read this, but I think it was, they don't really know what's going to happen. I feel like there's plans to promote youngsters into roles if needed. And there's also planning to wait until the end of whatever the transfer window will be to make a decision, so they've got the best picture going forward as to what's going to happen regarding the coronavirus and how the market's going to be affected. So, I mean, I feel like absolutely. I mean, if you win the league, you don't rest the laurels, and I guess it's a bit of a question. I mean, I guess Minamino might be the solution to this, but by Firmino standard, it's definitely been an off season.
Yep.
And I guess it depends whether that's
an odd one, isn't it?
And I guess it's going to be a question of how it'll be going forward, because he's absolutely invaluable to the team, but he's also, I think he's 30, I think he's the oldest of the front three. So I guess it's a matter of how long has he got left in that role and how do you replace him. So Minamino could be potentially one to come into that role in the future. But absolutely, I feel like priorities have to be left back cover. And again, it's an odd one with Lovren. Like, you really wouldn't want Lovren coming on, but it's worrying that Matip is, from my knowledge, he's had a fair few knocks and things, so he's had a fair bit of time out. Gomez had a very long spell of time out himself, and so
he did, but wasn't that a broken ankle or something?
Yeah,
like that was quite a severe injury. He's not gonna.
I think he's been okay since. I don't think he's. But Matip's very touch and go regard. I mean, granted, Lovren seems to have a sickness bug or something like every other week when he was actually playing. So I wouldn't feel like he could do a job when he was played, Lovren, but it's.
Do you know what? Sometimes he does have really good games. I know when Matip picked up that injury, Lovren started a couple of games in the Champions League and he was great, and everyone was like, look at that, Lovren. It's like, there's going to be like a battle now for first choice, because when Matip comes back, he's going to want it. Gomez was essentially replaced by Matip at the start of the season. He had to fight to get back, and then Lovren came out and was performing, and it was like, this is a good problem to have. Like, we've actually got competition for like a centre half now, partnering for Van Dijk. But Lovren has since fell off again. So, and Gomez has reclaimed his place as first choice, I would say.
So it's well. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to depend on Lovren. It doesn't need to be a sensible move. It's just a matter of how good a backup can you get that may have to accept they're not going to be first team every week.
I'm not 100% sure how old Koulibaly is, but I think he might be approaching, if not already, 30.
Bear with me, I'll find out.
Isn't he 28? I want to say.
Bear with me.
Here's a question for you while Craig is searching that up. Speaking of left
just
back
turned
cover,
29.
is there anyone that sticks out? Just turned 29. I was almost right. Is there any left backs that stick out in your mind that you'd love to sign?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, to be honest.
I
Hard to
can't
come
think of
by, to
any.
be honest.
I think the move would be to get to find I don't know, like a kid, and I mean, if you look at
Someone decent and trade them up.
Nico Williams, it's like that seems like the perfect solution. It's just we don't have one for left back.
Yeah, if he was a left back, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head. Also, last week, by the way, we mentioned about maybe getting some cover like on the wing, because neither Origi or Minamino really seem to flourish there in that position. I don't know if you've heard, but the African Cup of Nations has been pushed back a year, which means we were set to lose Mane and Salah for 2 months, I think.
And Naby, I think.
Yeah, and Keita, yeah. And now we will not be. We'll have them all season, next season. So that is a little bit... I would say now it's not as much of a priority for wing cover. I still think we need one, but I would absolutely focus on
that for granted.
Left back and some sort of centre half cover. But yeah, a little bit of a blessing there with that getting pushed back.
Interesting.
Well,
if you've got any ideas for left backs, replacements or cover, leave them in the comments down below.
We'll
let us know what you think.
Try to pass them on to our good friend Jürgen.
Yeah, we
shout Jürgen.
normally have a drink with them down the pub, but obviously they're closed. But pubs are opening soon, so we'll definitely pass those messages along.
Tomorrow they're opening it. Well, it'll be today when this video comes out.
Yeah, go on the phone.
Right.
So do you want to do a little look towards Aston Villa?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Move on. Look positive. I know. I feel like. I mean, I want to believe Klopp will have a word. The players will know. I know. I've seen a lot of them on social media saying, "Guys, we're sorry. It was a bad day at the office. It wasn't our game. We hold our hands up. Onwards and upwards. We're here to do better on Sunday and make amends." So, and I believe them. I mean,
10-0 corner now. No joking.
So I feel like, again, I mentioned earlier, Aston Villa. Aston Villa are fighting for their survival. So they have had a few decent results throughout the season. But I mean, they wouldn't be where they are now in the table without having played fairly badly for most part.
I will say, last we met at Villa Park, it was Liverpool won 2-1, so it wasn't exactly a clean sweep by any means.
No.
Do you reckon the team will be the same? Do you reckon they'll switch it, put some kids on?
Do you want to do a lineup prediction?
I don't think it'll be the exact same team as today, but I don't think it'll be tweaked too much. Because I think Klopp in his pre-match conference that I saw earlier on today, he was saying, because I know someone asked him, said, now that the league's won, are these remaining games time for like Curtis Jones and people to come into the team. He goes, no, I don't play people just because I want to play them. He says, I'm here to win football games, and if they're good enough, I mean, granted, it was nice. He said they're all very, very good players. They are almost there, and he says if they're good enough, and I feel like they're the best team to put out on that day, then yes, they'll play. But I'm not playing them for the sake of it. So
He always says the
I
right
feel like
things,
there'll be
Captain.
options. I feel like there'll be options.
Good manager.
He does have that pretty nailed down. So Gomez is I think Gomez
Right.
will play.
So,
I would have
Alisson-
said
Alisson's
if
definitely
Matip
starting
wasn't.
goal, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so back four. We're keeping Trent and Robbo in despite Robbo's terrible performance.
Yeah.
And also the fact that there's no one to replace him.
They're not going to change the back four. I would have said if Matip wasn't injured, they would have swapped him out for Gomez. But I don't think they'll risk playing Lovren first for Gomez, just to teach him a lesson.
think Gomez deserves another chance. Personally, for me,
Yeah.
like I know Klopp after the game said he brought him off because he got a yellow and he couldn't afford the potential that he might get sent off and then he misses a game. I think he took him off purely because it was getting too personal with Sterling. That was my opinion on it. So I think Gomez definitely deserves a little chance to of retribution, really, just to prove that he, go out there and show what he can do.
Same back four.
Same back four. Same front three.
Midfield.
I'd
Oh, we're going to do
potentially
front
say
three. Okay.
I'd potentially
Only
suggest,
because it's probably not going to change. Whereas midfield
Same
will probably
front
swap
three.
around.
Yeah, I think if anywhere would be in midfield, I personally think he might rest Hendo.
I don't know. I think he's
not
going
from a
to play
performance point of
Hendo.
view. I feel like, but like, I just genuinely feel
Almost
like he
an
may need a rest.
out-performance point of view. Yeah. He was all over the place at City. I mean, literally all over the place.
I
Probably
don't
is
feel
knackered.
like it'll be tactical at all. Like I'd want him to start, but I also do feel like he may need a break. So in that case, I'd potentially see.
I'll go against that. I'll say he'll still start Hendo, and I'll say he'll start Keita.
Yeah, I
reckon
was
basically the
expecting-
same team,
I was expecting Naby to
But
start
Keita to start. Yeah,
instead of who? Sorry.
Naby lad. Instead of Wijnaldum.
Okay.
I think Fabinho's a definite start. He didn't have a terrible game against City, to be honest. Hendo, I would like to start, but I do agree with you. I think he does need a bit of a rest, especially after that game. He was sort of like a one-man army.
I'll throw a curveball.
Go on, Curtis Jones.
And I'll say midfield will be Fabinho, Naby, and Ox.
Yeah,
Just to
Okay.
I feel like I could agree with that. To be fair,
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's what they'll go with, but I wouldn't be surprised.
And then same front three. I probably think, depending on how the games go, and I think good old Mini will get, hopefully. I mean, I'm hoping he gets the best part of at least half an hour.
yeah, I'd like to see us go, maybe 2-0 up in the first half, and then quite early on into the second half, throw Minamino on down the middle, give him Mane and Salah either side, and see what he can do. And that's assuming that, Firmino is on form, because if he's not, then maybe even earlier than that, to be honest, because you've got to there comes a point when you've got to be like, no one's bigger than the club, and you don't just get to play because you're Roberto Firmino. Like, if you're not performing, then it's time, give someone else a shot.
Although, on a completely unrelated topic to skill, it was incredible to just see him with the red hair. Like, that was incredible.
What a guy.
Oh, yeah. He did that for the Champions League as well, didn't he?
Shall
I
we?
know they all sprayed it,
Bobby.
but I think he's like dyed it, like properly dyed it now. I know they all sprayed it after the Champions League. I don't know if they dyed it afterwards.
Yeah, no, I think he dyed it.
Oh.
Shall we
He
put
always
our
does like a
score
little
prediction?
Little Insta live of him dying it. Yeah, score predictions.
On
I'm gonna go
record.
with 3-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same. I think 3-0.
Okay, I'm going with 3-1.
what about
To
Villa
Villa.
to
No,
score
only
first,
joking.
or do you just think it's going to be like a consolation goal or something?
I think Liverpool will score. Then I think it will go to 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think Salah will turn up. He'll pop in a goal because he's after that golden boot, and he was good against City, to be fair to him. He was very unlucky, so I think he'll go to 1-1. Salah will pop up with a goal, and then someone unusual. I'm trying to think who will. Van Dijk from a corner for 3-1.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I'll go with that.
So who was the first goal? Did you give 2 to Salah there? Or?
Ooh, first goal. Ooh.
Firmino.
Salah.
Okay.
Salah.
So 2 for Salah.
Salah, Virgil.
All right then. Well, in that case, because we don't normally do goal scorers, but I am gonna go. So I said 3-0. I'm gonna go Mane to score first, and then 1 for Van Dijk from a corner, and Salah. Salah will box it off.
I'm gonna say
he is good at that button.
I'm putting my hopes in this, and I really shouldn't, but fuck it, I'm gonna make such an oddball claim. I reckon it'll be Mane, Salah, and then Taki.
I thought you were gonna go
late in the
hat-trick
game
for Salah.
No. I think it'll be
love him to,
Taki late in the game. That's why I'm saying my hopes are getting into it, and I really shouldn't, but fuck it, all in.
I think if he gets long enough, he's definitely capable of it.
Sorry.
like
I said Mane, Salah, Mane, then Taki, but late in the game. I think it'll be 2-0 for ages, and then like late in the game, he'll pop one in.
Fair play. Well, we're going to do one after that game, aren't we?
Yeah.
Which is on Sunday. So, yeah, tune in on Sunday and find out
tomorrow
if we were
for when this video goes on.
Well, it'll probably go out tonight. So,
will it?
depending on...
For me then.
Tune in on the 5th of July to see our thoughts on the Aston Villa game. Is that right?
Yeah, if we were right. If Salah's got his hat-trick and propelled himself to first position in the Golden Boot, you know.
If that happens,
possible.
none of us are right.
I mean, I'll be right about the score, potentially.
So will I.
In fact, we all might.
But just not.
We should,
3-1's impossible.
Right, well, we'll see on our predictions. We've got on record our goal scorers. I would say maybe we'll do like a points thing. So like if any of us get the right score, we'll get a point. And for every right goal scorer we get, we'll get a point. And as the matches go on throughout the season, we'll try to keep track. Yeah. We'll try to keep track of these points to see who's...
Okay. Yeah, fair play. All right, let me just... Give me a minute. This might take me a while. I'm not brilliant at maths, but let me just tally up the points from the City game. Yeah, no, we're all still on 0. So
sick.
So yeah, tune in after the Villa game. See if we're right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Yeah. Bye for now.
See you next time. John it.
Champion.